anyway, Eric Kilstrom with VIP Mortgage. We always thank my home group for having us in here. You guys are in for a special treat because we got a special speaker today. I'm surprised the room's not full. But anyways, Bobby and I have been working together 10 years maybe. We've been at Preferred Lender. We used to be at Preferred Lender with HomeSmart. We got kicked out. We didn't really get kicked out. My best friend from high school went HomeSmart, and another mortgage company came in and said, "We'll give you money. Eric, you're out." So that's why. Anyways, Bobby and I, it is brutal honesty. We've been working with Bobby. He's been a great friend of VIP, big supporter. He's the #1 agent in Maricopa County for HomeSmart out of like 7,000 agents. So if you guys can get some great nuggets from him, certainly take them. He still does business the traditional way, which is relationships. Do what? Old school, very old school. Relationships. He doesn't even know what Instagram is, but he does a great job on it. So, anyways, I'll introduce Bobby Lieb.
Are you guys here for the gun control? This weapons shit and self-defense?
Just in case you're not good. So.
Yeah. I'm not getting paid for this, so you get what you pay for. Thank you. Thank you for being here, guys. So I do this class once a month. Usually a 3-hour C class, and it's agency law and marketing. So today I'm not going to bore you into the agency stuff. I'm just going to go over some of the things I talk about in the marketing class, and I know you said you've been in a couple of classes before. Please interact, guys. I mean, there's going to be stuff, and when I do these classes, I always tell people, please ask questions. I mean, to me, it's more fun interacting. I don't want to be up here talking the whole time. And if you don't agree with something, then I say I love it. I love to argue and battle. And you know, we all have. And again, when I do the classes, just like today, if there's something that you guys do that you want to share, or something that's different, just tag off of what I do. Chip in. So please, since it's kind of a small group. So I started doing these deals. Actually, I think I've been doing it for about 3 years now, the C classes, and I do it for fun. I mean, I don't get paid. I was telling you back to, I even called the commissioner and said, how come I don't get credit for my own classes, which kind of sucks. So, but to me, it's kind of fun. I've done this almost 30 years now, and love to share ideas with people. I have we'll get into a little bit in a while, but I've been real fortunate to have a really good mentor. Mark Moskowitz was my first mentor, then Ronnie Gilbert, and to me, I think that's something that's helped me along because you think you know stuff, and there's always somebody who knows more than you, which I'm thrilled with, and they've been really great. When I first started doing these, so Bill Gray comes to our class. I know you guys have all had Bill. So Bill comes to our class. I have him about 3 or 4 times a year. And there's nobody better. If you guys don't know who Bill is, he founded the Arizona School of Real Estate, sold it. Now they're kind of jacking him around, which is amazing because there's no better speaker than Bill. But he's so current, which is really neat. You know, when you have his classes, his information is up to like 2 days before your event. So everything that he has, all his numbers, statistics. And I'll have like 200 some people in our group, and just pretty neat to have those numbers. As opposed to when I got my broker's license and salesman's license, the same stuff that when I first learned from my guy 30 years ago. He would teach the same exact class, and you go into those classes knowing you're not going to learn anything. You get your hours, and you're never disappointed because you probably know less after you've been in the class than when you first started. But you get your hours and get out of there. My daughter is with HomeSmart. She's actually studying to be a sports psychologist, and she always, she's been in a couple of my classes. She'll say, "Dad, you do a really good job in the teaching, but you're not Bill Gray." So there's my own daughter giving me kudos. And I go, you know what? There is not anybody like him. She goes, you just don't complete your sentences. Like, oh, I'm a realtor. I just do this for fun. So again, I'm going to go through some of the things that usually I have like a technology. And those of you guys that know me, I am probably the #1 technology idiot in all the valley. I don't know any of my passwords. My assistant's been with me for 18 years. We do a lot of stuff on Facebook, as Eric would say, Instagram. I don't even know how to get on all that stuff, but we do use them. So any questions you want to ask other than technology, I'll be fair game for that. So anyway, so one of the first things I always start off with is kind of one of the to me. And listening is probably what I do, but when I went to work with Mark and Ronnie, my background was I used to have a nightclub called the Jockey Club back in the 70s. Any of you guys ever go in the club? I mean, you guys are old. We know you are old in the back of there. That injury was suffered from the Jockey Club, your wrist, right? That was from, yeah. So we had a private, and really, what I always tell people in the class, we all did something else. I don't think any of us really ever thought we were going to be a realtor from the beginning, but when I had my club, I loved it. It was fun. The first club we had, when Seth came in there, we had about 2,000 members at Highland and 20th Street. And then we sold that, and we opened up a second club at Central Callenbach, also called the Jockey Club. More of an R&B. You guys remember the movie Waiting to Exhale? They had Whitney Houston. That was actually filmed at our club the last 6 months. And everybody that came in there, if they looked at Whitney, they got kicked out. Well, we had Angela Bassett for us. But it was cool for me to go in there, knowing they can't kick me out because it's my club. But it was just kind of a fun deal. But the club, the second time around, we had a young kid. I knew I did not like, I didn't want to be in the business anymore. So Mark Moskowitz, who was the #1 realtor pretty much in the whole valley, and he was a realty executive, said, look, everybody in Phoenix, I'd love to be your mentor. And really, that's helped me a lot. I mean, and when I tell people, having a mentor, whether you've been doing this for a long time or especially brand new, it helped get me confidence and helped me learn a lot about the business. And what Mark would do, we'd go on listing appointments because people knew who I was, but they knew I was a nightclub slug and not necessarily a realtor. We get the listing because Mark was the best BSer, could just sell anything. And we get the listing because Mark would get lost for 6-7 weeks, never be found, although he's in my office. But it made me learn how to do stuff from the beginning, from the nuts and bolts to how to do a listing, how to deal with the people. He always showed up on payday, I can tell you that. But what it did do is it made me learn how to do everything you need to do. Nobody was holding my hand because, no, any you guys brand new in the business? Okay. So, I mean, one thing that I'll tell people, when you go to you get your license relatively new, they teach you all this stuff that, like water rights, you'll never probably have a water right question in your whole deal. I laugh because my daughter, who got licensed a couple years ago, had a broker question, and she was struggling, so I called Trudy Moore, our broker at HomeSmart. I said, Trudy, I have a broker question, like that show, Cap, whatever it is, phone a friend. Trudy goes, I have no idea. I go, you're my freaking broker, you're supposed to help me out. So anyway, it's, there's a lot of questions you get when you do the classes, but at least it gets you starting, and then, getting the mentor and kind of going from there. But having a mentor for me was real important. Besides learning, I also met a lot of agents through that. Although some of us are competitors when you go to the different tour groups and different classes and what have you, but the agents are competitors. But to me, the more agents you know out there, when it comes time to doing deals, the better chance that you have of doing business with people. Sometimes people, I don't want to, well, you and I will go to some meetings together, but you're later than I come to, right? Usually about 5 to. But when you go to the meetings, the more agents you meet, even if you are competition to an extent, at the end of the day, if you get an offer and you know a particular agent over somebody else, you can't tell your client, I would definitely take this offer, but just say, I do know this agent, don't know that agent, and maybe that gives you an edge because you're friends with that person. So it is really important to go like on the tours and meet the agents. But having a mentor, I stayed with Mark for about 5 years. You give up a lot, financial-wise, having a mentor, having a partner, but again, if you're going to make this a long-term career, it's worth it. And I didn't look back. And being the man that I was, I waited for Mark to go out of town, copied all the files, and then left. So I just picked the right timing. But again, he was a really, really good influence. And Ronnie Gilbert, who was with our group, I still will call Ronnie all the time. The other thing I talked about, Mark always did, is keeping a positive attitude, because there's a lot of times, I got playing baseball. I played baseball in college. How many of you guys are U of A graduates? Anybody here U of A? I went to Coastal Carolina that won the national championship a couple years ago, so I just love telling people that we beat U of A. But having played baseball in college, I hate to lose. My daughter, when I coached her in T-ball, I always tell people that I'm still upset that this one girl, when she was 6 years old, dropped a fly ball in the outfield. But it just kind of carries on, to sports and stuff. And so batting 300 in sports was good, but in this business, you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times. And almost a couple of different times, you go on your family. Sometimes people go, I normally get this listing because it's my siblings. My mom and dad just passed away. They're going to hire me, and sometimes they don't. And what happens there is that probably turn my phone off. So what happens there sometimes is that the people are going to look at you, your family, and go, look, Bobby's a brand new realtor. Obviously, we should hire him because he has family. But the siblings get greedy, and the spouses on everybody. And so what I always tell people is solidify your position in getting the listing by, if you think you could possibly get this listing, you may lose it because you haven't had experience. Find somebody who's experienced in that particular area. So whether it be a really good friend or your family, can't say, no, I'm not going to hire you because you haven't experience when you got a big hitter as your partner. And again, maybe you only get 50% of the deal as opposed to hopefully 100%, or the other side you may get 0. So I would always say try to get that 50% of any deal you possibly can, and then once you sell that house, then you can start marketing yourself and say, hey, I've sold this house. I did a deal a couple of years ago with Julie Morris in our company, and I do a lot of divorce work, or you cut somebody off. So I do a lot of divorce work as a special master, which sounds kind of funky. I never get called that in my house, by the way. But with the court, when you do a family court, you get to represent husbands and wives, or anybody, really, all sexes. But you represent the divorces, and what's cool about it is I get to, oh, you're back, I thought you left, I thought I pissed you off, so welcome back. So when you do the divorces, you get to, if one spouse is out of line, I actually get to sign for them during the listing period, and I get to, even the contract time, or closing time. But when you deal with that kind of situation, it gets to be tough with the divorce. But if you ever get an opportunity to sign up with the family court, if you have friends that are maybe family lawyers, talk to them about possibly getting into the family court system, because it's just another avenue. I'd probably do about 20, 25 divorces a year. And truthfully, the more, you always get one spouse that loves me, one that hates my guts. And to me, the more they hate my guts, the more I get fired up and want to kick their, But you got to be kind of level playing field. But if they don't cooperate, I just send a letter to the court, and the judge signs off and allows me to sign for them. So that's just one avenue if you ever get that situation. Anybody have any questions for me? I know you're stuffing your face, sir, so you can't talk. So here's one. Go ahead. You're back. Okay, good. So here's one thing I always talk, because again, it's kind of easier if I have a board. But you guys all know Russell Shaw. I mean, how do you not know? So I was on a panel with Russell a couple times 3 or 4 years ago, and I vowed I would never do it again, because when you're on a panel with Russell, you don't get to talk. And it's kind of like he's doing all the talking. And so I was asked about 2 years ago for this one title company, would you speak, be a panel member? And I thought it was Russell. I said, I'm not going to do it. I said, oh, I'd love to help anything in this industry, but he's going to control the whole deal. And they said, no, you'll get your share. So I'll do it because of you. And the interesting thing is, so I sat down, they were running about an hour behind. And so I sat down next to Russell, and you saw a different side of him other than the kind of, I don't know, like brag ratio guy. I mean, the guy spends $1 million a year in marketing and advertising. But the guy was almost bankrupt 30 years ago. He was on, if you guys remember Wonderful Russ, he was on the radio station. He used to make fun of Truck Robinson, did commercials and stuff like that. But he really you don't have guns. There's not the gun part, is it? For you? Self-defense. You don't hear anything. Anyway, so what Russell did is, his whole thing was he reinvented himself. He's outgoing. He spends money at radio. But the interesting thing, he kind of reinforced to me what when I was with Mark and Ronnie. He's predominantly a listing agent. So when you're a listing agent, you control the market. If we all had the ability to do that, it's nice that we can all be sitting here in class. Are you sure? I know it looks like it's a lot of food for one person. No? No, so I haven't eaten yet. So where was I? So the thing is, the listing agents control the market, and that's one thing I always geared, my business to, is being able to be a predominant listing agent. I'd say probably about 95% of what I do. We sell about 120 homes a year. I actually work by myself. I have an assistant because nobody wants to work with me. Some of you guys know why. But I have assistants with me for 18 years. But I really, all my advertising, marketing, when I first started off, I obviously wasn't a listing agent. I went wherever I had to go. But listing agents control the market, and you tend to dominate an area. Like I do mostly North Central. I do some in Paradise Valley where I first started off, but I really don't go spread myself too thin. Today is really a long journey for me to have to get on 2 freeways, 51 to 101. So I thank God for MapQuest. But I really try to stay in one area, and you'll notice. Like Arcadia, Robert Jobby does a great job. You got a couple really good agents in Paradise Valley, but it doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes people go out, one of the questions is how long did it take? It probably took about 10, 12 years to really specialize in an area because you've got people that have been doing that a long, long time. And I just kept looking at some of these people going, I know I'm better than them, I'm gonna work harder than them, but they have an in because they grew up in the area. You say just moved back to town from South Dakota. Somebody may have an edge that's been here all year, but you know what? You just it's hard work, but I kept saying, I coached a lot of the kids in the area, and my kids went to school in North Central, so it takes time. So anybody that says I'm gonna be the top agent in this area in 1 or 2 years, you're kidding yourself. It's all hard work, and someone's been doing this for a long time knows that it will definitely take a little while. So again, I also will refer stuff out. If I go to, I refer stuff. Like one of the boards I had, we had a really big house that was in Mesa. And how many guys are from East Valley? Okay, so I'm not going to make any East Valley jokes. But it's far from me. But when I first started, I was doing the East Valley deal, and so this one court deal was an ex-professional baseball player. The house was $1.8 million, so I'm going $1.8 million times 3. It's a hell. I'll make this trip 10 times. Well, the first 2 or 3 times I went out there, people didn't show up, and I go, this is crazy. So I ended up referring it out to obviously somebody in my own company, and I said, look, it's going to be 50-50. You get half of it, I get half of it. But at the end of the day, we ended up selling the house. She got credit for all the marketing. I got 50% of the commission, which is really all I cared about. And she got the signage, she got the postcards. But again, I got 50%, and I didn't have to travel to Mesa or out of the area. So not just East Valley. You got to look and say, time, does it make a lot of sense to do all the driving sometimes? So that's one arena. But to me, the thing with Russell, my old partner Mark, they were predominantly listing agents, and I think that was really a big part. Again, if I had the board up here, I'd go. So I don't really set a lot of goals. One of them that I really try to do personally is number of listings I get, number of listing appointments a month, and appointments. So I typically, I do about 20 to 22 listing appointments a month. And I usually list about 15, so I usually get about 200 listings a year. And I'll do any price. And I'll say this a couple different times. I'll do any price range. Some people say, well, I want to be a luxury agent, or I want to be a high-rise. Well, if I repeat this a couple of times, I apologize. But don't categorize yourself as one particular agent, brand yourself, because then if you say, it sounds awesome to say I'm a luxury agent, well, if homes that are $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, which are great bread and butter, $10,000 commission, people are not going to hire you because they think you're a luxury. When I was working with Mark back then, 25 years ago, the luxury market was 750,000. I don't even know what it is now, probably over $1 million. So I just, I did everything. I mean, even today, I've been lucky enough, we've had a couple sales this year over 3 million PV, and I've had 3 or 4 under 100,000. My kids are always taking my money, so it doesn't matter. But to me, I'm just a salesperson. But just know if you do categorize yourself, I know some people say I'm a condo specialist, I'm a high-rise specialist. Then to me, you're pigeonhole yourself. I just say, I'm just a realtor. So a number of listings is what I do, and again, I want to be, it's like any ego, I want to be, the top 1 or 2 agents in the valley. Fortunately, I've been, not having a team. There is a ranking that Business Journal does as an individual and as a team. So I always kind of want to be on top of there, so I don't have to change my signs. So here's the thing. One thing I also really talk about in my class is being in control of your marketing. And what that means is there's a lot of really good magazines. I was in an office earlier where they had a luxury magazine, Homes and Land, which I know you guys all see in there. When I left Mark, I had to market myself in so sellers were happy. So I did Homes and Land. I think it was like $900 a page for a year. Never got one call. But I had to. Do you have a question? Okay. So I thought maybe your question if I actually do it.
I'm just wondering.
Okay, good. Okay. Maybe you want to share some of her food. That's good. So when I did the market, I did the magazine Homes and Land. I got 0 calls. It cost me $12,000. It goes all over the valley. But I had to do as a listing agent. But for me, I want to be in control of what I spend. A couple things I always talk about is the internet and Zillow. As a matter of fact, I laughed because about 6 or 8 months ago I was speaking at a Home Smart meeting, and I was just ripping Zillow. I mean, because I don't believe in it. Some of you guys maybe use Zillow. And one of the VPs of Home Smart came to me and goes, see that group right there. They're spending 20 grand to sponsor her home smart meter from Zillow. I go, you guys, you're not paying me. I'm just, I'm speaking from the heart there. Now, and again, to me, Zillow does a phenomenal job of marketing themselves. When I go on listing appointments, I always look and see what Zillow, Street Scout say about the value of the house. Do I believe that? Heck no. But the sellers out there, that's what they're looking at. So I know going into the listing that this is what the consumers out there think the value is, and I just make sure that I have my comps to kind of support that and know that that's the battle. What bothers me about Zillow and some of the internet sites, and no, I don't know how to access Zillow, so in case you're asking that, but they're like, and again, if it works for some of you guys, again, I'm just telling you my feelings up here. I'm getting paid big money from Kelly to be here today, just follow Eric's water VIP. But when you look at, they charge like $500-600 a month to buy a zip code. Now, I live in A5020. You're probably living in Mesa East Valley, you don't know what A502 is. But for $500-600 a month to buy a zip code, I'm looking at these 30 agents who are the top Zillow agents in A5020. I never heard of one of them in my own zip code. And the more you pay, the more you're the top agent. I'm going, that's $600 a month or $500 a month, that's $6 grand a year. There's so many other ways you can be in control of your own marketing. Zillow's selling all these zip codes. There's a reason why there was an opening, because nobody else wanted it. But that's just, to me, you're throwing money away. They're doing a great job of collecting money.
There's nothing to repeat.
But do you, am I speaking? Okay. But you know, it's just, to me, it's just, you're just throwing money away. There's so many different ways. And then as a listing agent, why I hate Zillow on that part is because sometimes buyers think that those 20 or 30 agents that zip code know your listing. So they may say, hey, I see this listing that's, belongs to Bobby Lieb on this deal, and they don't know anything about your house. So they really could hurt you when it comes time to be able to, for somebody to actually see your house. They don't know anything about my house, yet they're the experts in that zip code. So I just think that, to me, is a waste of money. Spending that $5, it's great for Zillow, but is it really good for you to be in control? I just think, here's the other thing I always talk about, especially you being new, is I always tell everybody to do a monthly budget. I mean, I don't care, just something, and we'll talk about different ways that I do marketing, what I spend money on, what's worked, what hasn't worked. But I look at some of the different ways, it's $200-300, maybe it's postcards, whatever it may be, but you got to be consistent all the way through 12 months out of the year. And if you stop after 3 months, like here's a prime example. So when I came over from Realty Executives, we brought over like about 300 people from Realty Executives. We had a big presence in homes and land. And we were part of the PMG, which is supposed to hire in Realty Executives, but anyway, we had 30 pages in there. Phenomenal presence in the paper, although I got no calls out of it, but we had a great presence in there. So I went to the HomeSmart group, and I had at the time I had like 300 or 400 people in our lead group. Now I have 1,000. I go, guys, let's do a big spread, and let's take 20-30 pages. So the first month, we had about 40 agents. Again, one little ask, if a page costs $780 a month, it's $130 per. You get 6 homes on a page. So I had about 40 people the first month. 4 months later, we're down to 4 or 5. People go, nobody's calling me. And it's not going to happen overnight. And I know we all get impatient, but that's what I'm saying is that if you got to be consistent and realize that it may not happen in a month, 2 months, but do something, to get your name out there. If it's postcards, which we'll get into, but you got to be consistent, and that's probably the biggest word I would say in marketing. You can't just hit or miss when you get a check and then stop. It's just because the people that do, like myself, that do 12 months out of the year are going to blow past you. So somehow, some way, there's different areas you can spend your money in, but being consistent is really big. So here's why, and I like starting stuff. So how many of you guys like showing time? Raise your hand. Okay, so it's pretty equal.
Actually, I do.
You do?
I know you don't.
I hate showing time. So let me tell you, you don't have to answer my question. You don't have to, you know, just raise your hand. Don't need to get feedback.
Hey.
Okay. We're good friends.
Don't get me going.
Let me tell you why I hate showing time. So, and I know, okay, you can call me old school, but to me, when listings, when you put a home in MLS, it immediately shoots out to 40, 50 different internet sites, Zillow, Truly, Realtor.com, Street Scout. See, I do know some of that stuff. So everything that's on your listing is going to the general public. So the general public can read pretty much verbatim every single word you have on that listing. So what I like to do is I'll call, if I do take a buyer out every couple months, whatever, I want to call the listing agent and say, tell me something about that house that is not in the listing. I mean, is it divorce? What have they done to the house? I want an advantage over the next person because my buyers also have seen that listing. I want to know something about the house. Now the problem that we're all going to say is why don't a lot of us do showing time? Because a lot of realtors don't answer their phone. And that, to me, is silly. If you got, I remember back in the short sale days, it said, call me between 9 and 5, I don't work on weekends. So those realtors are out of business. But to me, the showing time, I have typically, crazy sounds, about 45 listings at a time, right now, active. And I always answer my phone. I want the agents to call me, and they're surprised I even answer the phone. I want them to ask me questions about the house. Tell me about your buyer. What does he look? So I'm helping them. Sometimes when the agents are coming to show houses in my area, North Central, they've never been in North Central before. So I'll say to them, this is, you're going to show a couple of my houses. Let me tell you what the schools are. What is it your people, do they have kids? So I'm almost interviewing that buyer's agent and helping them out, which they're thrilled. They're like, wow. And I'm going, okay, so your kids are looking for private school, or they're looking for whatever, maybe gym, whatever it may be. I mean, I know our area, so I'm helping them out, so it makes it easier for them. So when they're also going to be impressed, their clients, that they know the area well, they know. So to me, the worst thing you can have is an agent showing my house that just says, here's the bedroom, here's the kitchen, they're not adding anything to it. So I want to have that. That's why I hate showing time, because showing time takes the verbal skills out of the business field. That's my 2 cents. And those of you guys that use showing time, tell me why you like it.
Well, you know, you hit one nail on the head, Bobby, is you always answer your phone. Every time I call you, if I ever got voicemail, but the call back us within like 15 minutes. Always, and not your assistant. So, you know, you're on the computer. On top of that, and Jockey's another good one.
Right, Mark does answer his phone.
All the time. I find with showing time, especially if I've got last minute clients, which I had 2 weeks ago, a referral coming in out of town,
Right.
and I had this set up. I had approval limited time one day,
Right.
set up 12 showings,
Right.
and it allowed me. I was able to go on late in the evening.
Right.
A lot of them responded by the right way,
Yeah.
by the morning. And then there was, right, but then there were still those. There was still one or two. You know, it helped you geographically lay
Right.
them out. But you know, still one or two that haven't taken the time to get out clearly on that. So you're still making the phone call anyhow, but if you're able to actually do this and still meet somebody at 9 o'clock the next morning, when you started the process, you know, the evening before, say on Friday night,
See, here's your problem.
All together.
If you were up like I was this morning, my little puppies at 3:30 in the morning, you could have done it at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
I didn't want to be either. We just squeezed it out at 2 o'clock. So. I heard, you know, one of my dogs' name is Shayna, the same as one of Mark's wives. Yes, sir.
To answer your question, Bobby, sometimes I don't want to talk to young agents.
You don't want to, or you do?
Sometimes I don't even want to talk
Right.
until I know my client's interested in that house.
Right.
Then I'll start the process and I'll start calling them
Right.
and find out what. In the meantime, I got like 8 showing, 5 showing. I don't want to talk to another salesperson. I'm a sales guy. I need to talk to my client.
Yeah, and I respect that. That's why I said I love the interaction with it, and you know, it's not for everybody. I think part of the thing for showing time is I don't even know how to use it. That's why I don't like it.
Well, here's the other thing. Wait, let me.
Well, you're supposed to raise your hand then ask if I call you. I don't know. Wow, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, also, when you set the showings up for showing time, you can email the client the link,
Yeah.
and it gives them, they have their phone, they have directions, they know exactly which house you're going to. I don't use paper anymore, I don't print out planos. My last client brought her iPad and her little thing, she was writing notes all over her, and that's all emailed to her. It's like, it's very convenient.
Well,
And I agree, once you have
Yeah,
interest,
here's the only thing I would say: if you get anything out of this class today, whatever it is I'm doing, answer your phone, guys. If you're a listing agent, you're a fool if you don't answer your phone. I mean, if you're, I get you guys are talking buyer's agent. As a listing agent, you have to, and a lot of calls I'll get is from sellers that are pissed off at me, which is normal. You know, why isn't my house selling, or whatever it is. But I find if you answer your phone, you diffuse sometimes that argument, because when I ask my broker, what is the #1 complaint at our company besides me, it's agents don't answer their phone. And so, again, as a buyer's agent, maybe I see that, but as a listing agent, I want to help sell my house, and especially to agents that never sold the area, don't know anything about the builder that I may be representing, but I totally get that.
I'm a listing agent as well,
Okay.
as a buyer's agent, and as a listing agent, I'll call people who showed my property.
Right.
If they don't give me feedback, I call them for feedback.
Why doesn't that surprise me? You know, but they don't always answer. You know. Is that your bad hand or your good hand?
My bad.
Okay.
Isn't there a place on
Is that a fan you got there?
It is.
Wow. Okay. You're old school. You with the jockey club too.
There's a place you can write a little note
Yeah.
to the other agent.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. The agents that are experiencing, regardless of experience, that know their stuff,
Right.
I'm getting things emailed back to me that I really they want me to.
Which is great, yeah.
And they're good about
Right.
it. So it's not a total disconnect. Some of them are really good about that.
Well, and that's a good point too, because as a listing agent, and if you guys are buyer's agent, don't ignore us if we're asking you for feedback. I mean, somebody, I don't have the time, I don't remember the house. Yeah, you do. And when you become a listing agent, you're going to want the feedback from the agent. So that if there's anything that pisses me off, is that they don't return your call, because now what happens is sellers think that you're lazy because you're not giving them the feedback. And if you tell them, I mean, almost to the point sometimes I will tell my assistant, I'm on tape, make up something. I mean, because it's like, you know, and I hate to do that, but it's like your clients, why aren't people calling back? And I go, the agents aren't returning the calls. So it's the 3rd time you told me because they aren't. So at least give feedback. So, you have a question?
No, I'm saying that showing time can be good for pull-up one that it gives you the smart power. So it arranges it. You can send out the appointments because everybody's asking you to make the appointment via showing time, so they don't want to answer the phone. But then with the phone app and showing time, you can get to the house, you can call that agent from within showing time, real easy on your way to the house, and then do what you say. Because, you know, like a couple weeks ago, I had 11 showings, you know, on a Saturday, and I knew my client well enough to know that there was probably 3 of them there that she was really going to like.
Right.
So those are the ones where I called the agent. Yeah, I'm on the way over to the house right now. I need to appointment showing time. Tell me something about it that she's going to like. And so for me, technically, showing time puts it all in one little spot where I've got the map. It gives me the driving directions because it hooks up to my, the GPS, and I can call the agent there. So I like it technically, but I agree.
See, that was a big key word for me, technically.
That's why I like it.
That's where you lost me. But you know what, and truthfully, guys, if the agent says the only way that I can communicate with them is showing time, I pick up the phone and call them anyway. I'll piss them off, but I want to know about that. I don't care. I mean, that's just me personally. It says showing time only. I'm calling them up, and I'll keep calling them up until they answer the phone. So, to me, if you're a listing agent, I want to talk to the agents to help them buy my house. Because if you figure, I don't know the ratio, 90-95% of homes that get sold are through other agents. I want to educate those agents who are showing my houses to help sell my house. Because if I can't do it, I want their help. So anyway, that's me. Yes, sir.
Let me throw one thing out. So I think showing time is a conduit to what I believe is going to be a problem in our industry anyway. I don't know if you're going to touch on this, but Open Door, Homey, all these guys, the more that happens within what we do that becomes automated, the less we become important.
That's why, yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
I think showing time makes lazy agents lazy.
You know what, Johnny, that's exactly what that's what I say all the time.
I actually did. I beg to differ.
How long have you been in real estate?
Right.
As an agent, 4 years.
How, 4? Okay.
And, you know, and I resisted that for the longest time. We've gone in on almost 22 years. I resisted that because I'm, like you, very much about the personal touch.
Right.
I want to talk.
Right.
But, you know, something when I couldn't do my job on, you know, short notice, because these are like a couple of military referrals,
Right.
that when I had the opportunity, they were flying into town, I had Saturday, Sunday
Right.
period, and they were buying. I had to get my crap together
Right.
and make it happen fast and efficiently, and it allowed me to do that. But also the homes that were more interesting, or I thought that would really serve their purpose, I can call those agents.
Right. Well, yeah,
And
go
it
ahead.
was not a matter of being lazy at all.
Right.
It was about a matter of being efficient and being able to line
Right.
up and get those homes lined up at 9 or 10 o'clock on Friday night to meet with them at 9 or 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and everybody's ready to fly.
Yeah.
I think every platform that they create within our industry that takes us out of it all has its good points and bad points.
Right.
Oh, I agree.
There's
I
parts of
agree.
showing time that are good, but I think ultimately the more we automate the system and get ourselves out of it,
Yeah.
the more we're hurting
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah, we'll move on to another part, and that's why I love you guys' interaction, which I know is always kind of, it's fun for me. I think, and again, maybe it's because I'm in my 60s, I'm doing this for 30 years, I watch the younger generation who doesn't, they've never had to communicate. I'm not knocking anybody because I have young kids, but they were always on their phones, so they don't know how to communicate, so I think that's part of what hurt. But anyway, that's, you guys know I hate showing time, so that's something you guys do like it. So here's a couple, so we got a few other things I want to kind of talk about. How many of you guys have ever heard of Vulcan 7? I don't know if you've been in my class before, you have. Okay, did you ever use Vulcan 7? So let me explain, so Vulcan 7 is pretty interesting. So about a year ago, I had a listing in Paradise Valley, and the seller just had a baby come. I'm making the story more interesting, but she actually did. So, and she said, look, we're getting ready to go to Alaska for the holidays, and we want to take our home off the market, TOM, and so fine. So I took it TOM. I did like 11:30 at night. I get a call from her like at 5:30 in the morning. I think she just had a baby like about a week before. And she's pissed off at me, which again I say happens to a lot of my sellers yelling at me. She had about 30 phone calls from agents at 5:30 in the morning that had called her about, and I had a TOM, which is still an active listing, and calling. She was, and not only did they call her number, which wasn't listed, her husband's number wasn't listed, they were calling their brothers and sisters in Alaska. So I said, do me a favor, the next person who calls you, I'll say I'm your husband. Right now I feel sorry for her husband because he's going to hurt anybody. And she did. So this guy calls me, and I got his number. I said, look, I'm not going to turn you in, but I want to know how you got this number. And he says he subscribes to Vulcan 7. And so here at Vulcan 7, what the people do, remember I told you before about people paying Zillow $500 a month? So Vulcan 7, you know how when your listings get canceled or you get fired, whatever, people start getting all these calls. So Vulcan 7 is probably the top company that does this. Expired and canceled listings, people pay $500 a month to subscribe to this company, and as soon as a listing gets expired or canceled, they get the slow down. So I gotta go back to what I said before. If you don't sell an A5020, why are you buying a zip code? People are gonna hire you because they see your signs, your marketing. Going to Vulcan 7, why would somebody hire me in the East Valley if I don't even know how to get there, number one? And number two is, all of a sudden say, I can sell your house. Where do you live? Central Phoenix. Do you even know what East Valley is? No. And that's, but because this company, it's a great tool. So we actually went on TV. My best buddy is Mark Curtis and Sean. So we did a deal. I brought Dax Watson, who's the local attorney. So Dax got on TV with the mom and her baby, and just basically said that if you make phone calls to the do not call list, that you don't know if it's the registered number, it's a $15,000 fine. So again, when I say about investing in yourself, controlling your own marketing, why are you going to let this company that you're paying $500 a month and they got 2,000 people, they don't care about you, but they're saying, hey guys, we can make you money. No, you can't. People are not going to hire you if you don't sell there. Maybe you get 1 or 2 out of it. So my running joke I always tell people, because I know I'm being recorded here, so I'm going to be in big trouble. So if I do get fired or I really don't like a seller for a particular reason, I accidentally will put in the comments, please call before 3 a.m. So that way it kind of gets our revenge with them. And they call me back, people call me. I go, God, I meant to say p.m. Sorry, I can't change it now because it's canceled. But that's where people get those calls. That's how you get your revenge. Go, God, I'm really sorry. It's 3 a.m. I just got up early, so that's why I have no friends. That's why I work on myself a lot. So we talked about the Vulcan 7. So here's some. I know we got how much time we got. So here's some of the things. I'm going to go over some of the deals that work for me, some of the deals that haven't worked for me. If you guys got some marketing deals, feel free. But again, the Zillow is $6,000 a month or $6,000 a year to market a zip code that you don't even live in because you bought it. You got the Zillow's, you got the Vulcan 7. By the way, if you do have a client you actually like, write down the word support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, at Vulcan7, the number 7.com. And that actually will, if you say you get ready to relist the house in a couple months, that will stop the majority of the phone calls that people will get as soon as a listing cancels. That means you like them, unlike me that put 3M. So support at Vulcan7.com and have them say, I own this house, we're getting ready to take the house off the market for a couple months, I do not want any phone calls. And even say you're on the do not call list. And therefore, like we had a listing we took over today, the lady did that, she got 2 calls, one a couple months ago, the guy got 100. He's a U.S. Marshal that was getting calls, his daughter's with the FBI. People, I mean, 3,000 people subscribe to Vulcan 7. So here's some of the stuff that I do that I've done and not done. So we talk about the internet and Zillow. Now, again, I mentioned earlier that I do a lot of divorce work, and you have, again, one spouse that loves you, one that hates you. We did one, I want to say about 2-3 years ago. I actually had a Zillow profile. I said, I have to do this. So I think I paid, I don't know, maybe it was $800 or whatever at the time, 6, 7 years ago, to have a profile and whatever it is that says this is what you do. So having a profile, so in this one divorce deal I did, the wife was living at home with her 2 kids. She felt like she would not sign anything off, so I had the ability to sign for her, not only the listing, but the purchase contract. And her revenge on me at closing was to post it on Zillow that basically she said I'm an asshole, which some of you guys know I am anyway, but that's okay. But it said, he threw me out in the streets with my 2 kids, and I mean, it really made me look pretty bad. So I called Zillow up and I said, hey guys, so understand when you have a profile, you're fair game. So I called Zillow up and I said, okay, I need you guys to, I mean, this is a hostile deal. Can we get this off? And their comment was no. And I go, well, I explained the situation. I go, we really can't do that. But their comment to me was, maybe you find 18 or 19 people to say something good about you, and that's not going to happen because there's not 18 people saying anything good about me. So I just removed my profile. I removed my profile. Here's the thing: when you have a profile, it could be your competitors are saying crap about you. You're fair game for the world to basically say stuff about you, and there it is for the general public who actually looks at that site. And my analogy to that would be like if you're reading restaurant reviews and you got 1 or 2, 18 people say the best restaurant I've ever eaten in their life. One person got food poison. That one's going to stand out. So that was the same thing with me. I didn't do anything wrong. I did my job as a corporate commissioner, but it gave this lady an avenue to put me down. So just know when you have those profiles and you walk into a contract and you can't get out of it, especially if you pay money up front, you're fair game for the general public to basically put you down. And
You have your profile up again?
no, I do not.
So can you take it down?
You can remove it, yeah. Now, if you've already paid it for it, they don't care because they've already got your money. But when you say, can you take it down, I do not know how to do that. My assistant did that for me.
Well, I'm
But
just saying if you took it down in maybe a year, put it back up.
you could, but you got to pay for it.
With
But-
the comments that beyond it, that's okay.
No, the comment's probably here deleted. It probably starts fresh. That's a great question. I don't know. I'm just telling you, when you're paying the $500 a month, and actually when I get calls from Zillow that's trying to market me, they're area code 206 in Seattle, I don't even answer the phone anymore. But now they got smart calling me from 602 and 480, so they don't have to do a local number. That's one of the things I'm real cautious about. We talked about, to me, the best source for me of advertising is a local area newspaper. I don't know if you guys have been around long enough. There's a guy named Greg Hay, whether you like or don't like him, that when he took over Paradise Valley, so when you come into an area that has had established agents, you got to kick butt quickly, and you're going over the seasoned veterans that have been doing this for 20, 30 years. So Greg basically spent a ton of money. The PV Independence, there's only 6,000 people or so live in Paradise Valley. He made that paper his own. He is like, maybe 25 pages in there. Every page had one of his homes in there. It had delivered by Greg Hay, everything on there. So all of a sudden, a guy from nowhere came in, probably spent a ton of money, he got a huge market share from the people that have been seasoned because it made him look like he was the expert. The thing I didn't like about Greg, his advertising was negative towards realtors, and to me, that is scummy. I mean, say you're the best, whatever it is, but don't put down another realtor, and that's would be my 2 cents about it. But he's a genius. He was a genius at how he made that paper's own. So when I kind of started going on my own, we have a local area paper called the North Central News. I started doing 5 pages in there, and I couldn't afford it at the time to do that because it was about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. But it got me a lot of calls in there. You don't have to do that many pages, but whatever newspaper you're in your area, that to me is how you want to target your own area. Probably the best way. Now, if I have a listing, let's say in a different area, I don't have any of these valleys, so you won't have any threat for me. But like Arcadia News or the PV Independent, I get the best rate in the North Central News Club 12 times a year advertising. Some of these other papers, you may run 1 ad or 2 ads for what you're paying, probably a one-time rate, which is double what you would do if you had it 12 months. But you're also going to get lost because there's so many other realtors in there. So maybe you have to do it to appease your client if you have a one-up house in a particular area. But just know that your local paper, to me, if you're targeting a particular area, you say, what is one area that you would say has helped you? That, to me, was a big plus. I learned from what Greg did. And again, those other magazines they have, I just, even if I get a listing, we had one that was over 3, I just didn't do those big magazines because it goes all over. And it's not, I know it's not getting many calls. There's another way, those magazines are $2,000, $3,000 a month. And some companies, absorb those costs. In our company, we're 100%. You got from my home group, you're 100%. You're doing your own costs. How many guys are not from my home group? Somebody else besides HomeSmart? Anybody else? Where are you from?
Quantum?
Quantum? Where are you guys out of?
Electromonto.
Okay. How about
Hello, Williams.
Keller Williams? Okay.
Main Street and 101.
Okay. Anybody else? So, and you guys, everybody has their own deal, but you probably still have to do a lot of your own advertising costs. So that's the thing, there's all these magazines. I love it where, there's one magazine, I forgot what it's called. I remember a few years ago, they go, we're going to make you the #1 agent in the Valley. I go, cool, but it's going to cost you 10 grand. And I said, you know what, I'll be number 100. And when I look at that book, the top 10 agents, again, 8 of them I've never heard of before, and nobody even looks at those books. So there's just so many, it's a great job from their guys to market it, but it's just, again, you're not in control of their marketing. Yes, ma'am. You have this time you already
Yes, this time of question.
Okay.
Nextdoor.com. Every neighborhood receives these emails.
Nextdoor.com?
Yes,
Okay.
Nextdoor.
Never heard
I
of
know
it.
you can. Oh, never heard?
Have you guys ever heard of Nextdoor.com?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is that like your neighborhood deal?
Yes, it's communication via neighbors in a particular neighborhood.
Okay.
Kind of like Facebook for a specific.
Well, there's a reason why I don't know how to do that because it's technology.
It's technology, yes.
I know, yeah, and I don't know if that, I mean, I do, actually, we do have next door. I don't even know how I got it, to be honest with you, on my phone. But yeah, do you advertise in that, or does it work?
It's not supposed to be, of course they can.
No, they're not supposed to take realtor ads in there, but they do, right?
But realtors all over the valley
Yeah.
try to sneak and
Yeah.
in every neighborhood, so.
To me, and I see the couple of them on there, and again, with the next door in my area, and again, I've never heard any of the realtors in there, so I don't know, I mean, that's, I don't know if they're charging you to do it, but
No,
just, okay.
there is a pay ad
Yeah.
section, but,
You know, if it works,
this-
again, I say if it works for you, go for it. It's not that expensive, but I think your market share, if it's just your neighborhood, probably not gonna be a whole lot of people to reach there.
Because anything is going online now,
Yeah.
and people, especially younger generations, they don't read the newspapers.
They
local
don't.
ones.
No, I mean, I'll bring it up in a second too. So we're talking, here's another thing too, signs. I do, if you guys are familiar with Paradise Valley, they have those 4-foot signs in PV. They're really nice, and as opposed to the L-shaped signs. So I use Champs Post. Everybody's got different sign companies. I love those PV signs because they're classy. Again, they're not, PV has a moratorium law, you can't do anything over 4 foot. So I love those signs. And again, it's like $60. Champs, I think Post charges me $60 for 6 months for those signs. They look so good. And if you happen to be in a hillside home, if it's not PV, you can do like it's a 5 foot, it's a tall twin. They look great. And that, again, that makes you stand out from different realtors. And it's a great looking sign to put up. The post is really cool. I just think those look really, really good. And they're sold if it's $6 a month to have a good sign, that is marketing. So I talked to about in the class sold signs. So I'm a true believer, and again, if you guys disagree with me, I love it when you do that. I'm a true believer when I sell a house and I'm up at all crazy hours, I'll put a sold sign on 30 seconds later. Now the good news is all my signs are within about a mile of where I live, so I'm not having to drive too far. And people go, why do you put, and actually our broker Trudy said, why don't you put sell pending? And I don't think people really, and everybody knows what sell pending is, but sold sounds to me kind of macho. Now I know when you put a sold sign up right away, you limit sign calls. I mean, people are not going to call you, you still got the inspection period, but the way I look at it is, to me, if somebody's driving that neighborhood, that 2-week period that you're doing inspection, and they see a sold sign, they're going to think that you are that area expert. That sold sign gets me another sold sign. It gets me another listing. Whereas typically the calls you get, at least the ones I get, people ask you 10 questions: how much is the house, the square footage, there's a pool, yada yada, and then they go after 10 minutes, it's too expensive. I'm thinking, So I eliminate that by putting sold on there. And I'm telling you, I get more. Now I get more business for people seeing my sold signs. Now the negative is in our neighborhood we have a lot of fix and flips. And where people will tie up one of my houses, I'll put a sold sign on there, and in day 9, they actually realize it's a busy street, and they cancel. So I had one that on 12th Street, just north of Glendale, 5 different times I had to take the sold sign off. So, I did it when people were sleeping, so I was embarrassed, and I finally ended up selling it. But that's the trade-off, that if it cancels. But I'm just telling you, the good outweighs the bad, in my opinion, that when people drive neighborhoods, they're going to see if they're going to hire somebody, they're not going to hire you because you have a profile in Zillow, and you spend $500 a month at Vulcan 7. They're going to hire you probably because they get your advertising information, they see your signs, and especially the sold sign. Yes, sir.
And you use Seller's Writer?
What do you mean?
Seller's Marketing Writer on your?
I do not. What do you mean seller's marketing writer?
Like, text this number to get more information.
You guys are talking to a technology effing idiot. I do not do that. I do not do that. Am I not an idiot? Yes, I'm an idiot. I do not do that. I do not. Actually, in the 4-foot signs, I know they have those barcodes on there. I've never done that. To me, I don't know if when you're driving too fast, you always see the barcodes. But more importantly, I wouldn't know how to answer the phone if they called me on that. So I am not the right person asking technology stuff. But I do, and again, those 4-foot PV signs don't really have any room to put those signs on there. But the sold sign does work for me.
And Mark, just so everybody knows, his sold signs are huge.
Okay.
So when he puts on sold, he's shouting, so it's not like a little sold thing, right?
Just like a type of capital letters.
Yeah, it's a big.
It is,
If you
yeah.
drive down Central Avenue, you can see it walking.
And I see some that say sold, I have others, but yeah, you want it big. I mean, you want, I put that sold sign on 30 days or whatever before it gets sold. Yes, ma'am. You only allow one question per half hour, but go ahead.
Oh, okay, sure. Wait,
No, you're fine. Go for it. You
when
may be here
you
for that
take
good class.
listing or you sell a house, what
Sorry?
do you do when you take a listing or sell a house? Do you do just listing marketing?
I do not. Now, I know some of you guys do. I do not. But I do the newspaper that goes out to my community that tells them it was just listed. So,
Okay.
and we'll get in a postcard. I love postcards. Yes, sir.
Probably in the advertising you're doing in that newspaper, do you also advertise sold in there?
I do. Yeah. So I will have. Well, here's just to give you a little, for instance, we'll get sold. Yeah. So here's pretty fancy table. So what I do is I have 2 obnoxious pages in here, and that was probably a picture 8 years ago. So I will put in here. These are just my listings. So I'll put just listed, new listing, and escrow. And the bottom of this page here, I will put homes I sold this year, and then I'll have the homes that are kind of active. And then to make it more obnoxious, if they aren't already sick of me, I do a 3rd page in here that is more luxury. And I also do a neighborhood article, which is the hardest thing I've ever done because my deadline is the 15th every month, and the paper calls me the 15th every month, so we haven't got the article yet. So I put something together like in about 2 minutes. And then my wife used to be in this magazine called Raising Arizona Kids. So I would, when I first started doing this about 7 years ago, I would send the article. She goes, let me have our editor look at it. Pretty much half the stuff I put in there, she'd redline it. And I go, this is the way I talk. I'm not going to let you redo my whole article. But doing articles in a local paper, like an advertorial deal, I still pay full page. really works out good. Our newsletters. So anyway, thanks for asking that question. So the other thing too, yes sir, sorry.
So your big sold sign, do you have your number still too, or just sold?
I'm sorry?
So your big sold
Yes.
sign, do you have your number in your face too, so people can contact you?
First of all, I would never put my face on my sign. But my sign is still up there. I had to put a sold writer on top of it. So I'm not,
Not that big then. Okay.
no, it's big. I mean, you can only do sold, like the regular signs are 24 by 24. I think my sold writer, I want to say it's like 8 by 24. It's big enough to be seen, but it's in red background, white letters. Same thing with open house signs. If you guys are doing open houses, people will call me sometimes, they're new, I want to use your open house. Get your own. Again, you want to market yourself and let the neighbors, people see. I don't know if we have a whole lot of time, so postcards to me are the biggest thing, because I'm cheap. So I do, I use Mags Mail for this, M-A-G-S-M-A-I-L. And I don't even know how much postage is now, because it says forever. What is 48 cents? 50? How much is it? 50? I don't know. So, but it's half price when you do bulk mail. And what I'll do is, I'll do a postcard, again, going for listings, I'll do a postcard to, I'll have to talk to me, pick out geographical area, east, west, north, south, and I'll do maybe the homes I want to go that are under 500,000, and just guess like square footage under 2,500. And on here I'll say sold the past 2 months, whatever, and I'll pick 5, 6 homes that I've sold somewhat in the same price range that this is going to. Again, it's going to go to the homes that are under 500,000 value, under 2,500 square feet. And then I'll do a luxury one, one right after that. It's the same it's the same geographical area, but now it's going to go to homes that are like 4,000 square feet plus. And it'll say sold, $1 million, whatever it may be. So I'll send 2 different postcards, but I'll do that every 2 or 3 months. Now, some of you guys that are sports teams, religious groups, just listed cards, they're great. I think that's how you keep. They're not expensive. Your title company does that for you, your mortgage company, but you want to do. I do 250 plus at a time. Actually, I do almost 1,500 every month, every other month, and it works. And it's another, and maybe it costs me $1,200, $1,300 a month to do it, but I always get at least one listing out of it. But again, it's over a course of 12 months, not really good. Okay? What else do I do? I also do sports magnets. I use Magnolite for that. So I have these. I put the magnets in different, and I don't do a magnet on my car because people laugh at me, but if you guys do that, that's nothing wrong at all. So I grew up in Atlanta, so I'm not a hockey fan, so if you guys are hockey fans, I apologize. But I do baseball, basketball, and football, the different seasons. I usually do like 3,000, so I'll mail them out. I'll take them, so I'll put them in different stores in North Central that allow me to write articles about them in my newspaper deal. And again, it's just another way. Now, if I go to somebody's house and I see another agent's magnet, I will take theirs off and put mine on. So I'm a classic guy. Just kidding. But it's funny, if you can't put the physical name of the team because copyright law, so we'll just say like Arizona baseball. I do 3,000. I think the Suns this past year still have 2,900 left because nobody wanted any of them. But this again is really good advertising. It's pretty cool when you go in a house and you see your magnet on the refrigerator. Of course, some refrigerators are not magnetic. Again, they're like 50 cents, 60 cents a piece. You don't have to do 3,000. I'd actually cut back on that. But Magnolite, I think it's like 602 269 either 0007 or 0009. Again, another inexpensive way. I started doing. You guys know Libby Cohen. So Libby's daughter graduated with my daughter at All Saints. A few years ago, and called my wife and said, "Hey, I'm doing selling bus stops now, and Miss Lee, would you be interested in doing it?" And my wife goes, "No, but I volunteer my husband." So I decided to do a bus stop, and I called Robert Jaffe and a couple of other people that had him, Phil Tibby. Does it work? I don't know. I know I get more abuse and more crap from having my picture on a bus stop, but it's $450 a month, it's about $6,000 a year. But I have it on a street that Glendale Central, it's about 6,000, and we probably get 75,000 cars a day go by. I don't know if it works. Every time I keep saying I'm not going to do it anymore, my wife tells me I'm going to keep doing it, I have to keep doing it. So I do, people put birthday hats on my birthday, draw mustaches, but cars, when there's traffic, they see your bus stop. It's just, again, it's your name out there. Does it work? I don't know, but I still do it. PR firms. So I talked about earlier about how to, like Greg Haig did that great job of taking quickly a neighbor area that had 3 or 4 really good agents. So Robert Jaffe is a good friend of mine, and Robert, great in Arcadia, took over Paradise Valley. So I called, asked him how he did it. Of course, he did a lot of marketing stuff in there. So I hired a PR firm. And further ability thinking, my mail lingo, and then if he could do Arcadia, bless you, and Paradise Valley, Biltmore was only 2 miles away from North Central. So I did it. My whole goal was I wanted to be a Biltmore person too. So it cost me about $3,000 a month to have this PR company. And first month, second month, third month, no business. All the way to 8 months, no business. And I asked the PR company goes, 2 more months it's going to happen. I go, I'm done, man. And when I realized, again, here it is, I'm telling you guys, it's hard to take over an area. I thought all I had to do was hire a PR firm, and I'm going to be the go-to person, realizing I'm competing against people that have been doing that 30 years in that neighborhood, and it cost me 25 grand, and I learned the hard way. So don't spend a lot of money trying to take over, but be consistent. There's other ways that that's one of the areas I failed, but I had to try it, and it just didn't work here. Local Little League teams, guys, that to me, again, staying in your neighborhood, supporting being on the whether it be softball or baseball on the fence with your name on the signs, back of jerseys. That's such a cheap way to get your name out there. I remember when my daughter, with my daughter one year, we were playing in a championship in our little league, our softball, and of course my team is sponsored by me. I wouldn't anybody else sponsor my own team. And my neighbor, so we're playing my neighbor's team in the championship game, and her team is also sponsored by me. She put black tape over my name, and we kicked her ass. But I'm only telling you one because I wouldn't tell you the story. But it was kind of funny. But it's such an inexpensive way to market yourself. Is your local? If you want to be in another area, put your name on the fences, and it's like $300 or $400 every different season. And again, if you're a realtor, which you guys are, you don't want another realtor sponsoring your kid's shirt. So it's just again another easy way. Couple of things, professional flyers, another great way of marketing yourself. I don't know how to use my camera, my phone. I see some people take pictures of the houses they're listing on their phone. And not only are you selling that house that you're listing, but because it goes on the internet, people are looking and go, hey, now we may want to hire this person. And when they see how shitty the pictures are, they're not going to hire you. So know that for $130, $140, I'm not going to give you any particular company, but get a hire professional, because if it costs you, I think it's like $125, $135 per house. That gets you, the flyers are great. They also will send you feedback through the internet. How many people are, that's one particular company I have. They'll send feedback to your client every week. How many people are viewing your house? Of course, the clients will call me up and say, what does this mean? I'll tell them I have no idea. But at least they're getting something. But spend money on the pictures. It's so important. And you don't need 80 pictures. I mean, really, even the house we just had in PV that was 6,000 square feet, we had 35 pictures. Some people have 80. They have, here's the toilet paper, here's the sink. Just get the main areas, because people don't, if they're looking at 10, 12, 20 houses, they don't want to look at 80 pictures. And you're paying for that. You don't need that many pictures. That's just my deal. Let's see what else. I guess we got 10 minutes before the young people come in here. Like I said before, I don't call myself a luxury agent. Be careful to categorize yourself there. Just kind of skipping through here. What else is there? Here's what I want to go over one thing too, if we have time here. So I also, part of my class, yes sir, that's your second question, so you're done. You can have your wife?
Yes.
She can ask a question, and then you don't have to.
What are your top 3 lead streams in your marketing fund?
Top 3 lead streams?
Yes.
Signs, I think, are big. I think the advertising, it helps. And probably networking. I mean, I can't really just pick on 3, but I think definitely signs help me, having sign recognition, the advertising in the local area, and probably because I've been doing it for a long time.
And how much tracking of where your leads come from?
I do not do that. I mean, sometimes I will if I go into an appointment and they tell me, but I've been doing it long enough. I ask you another one. Let me go over, I think we're almost 5 minutes. Okay. I want to go over something else. So besides when I talk about the marketing, by the way, if you guys ever want to do, I do a class once a month. We're not doing it for June, July. It's at Home Smart, but you don't have to be, everybody's welcome to come. So you can call me. Pardon?
How to get information?
I'll get you, yeah. So if you want to, let me give you my email, and you guys will laugh. Just show you how okay. It's Bob Lieb, Lieb, at AOL.com. So that tells you how data. Who's laughing? Do you have AOL too? All right, you just want to make fun of me. All right, so go ahead, put me down, guys. It's fine. So let's go over. So part of my class, so my next class is going to be in August. It's the 3rd week in August, yeah. So just where was it? Oh, AOL.com. So here's something else. I also teach the exclusive listing agreement. Coming soon signs are obviously huge for a lot of us. And I want to tell you the pluses and minuses. But way back when, and I know there's a lot of stuff we're probably not covered, but if you guys heard me talk too long. The coming soon signs, I love. So the old school guys, girls, it used to be when you have a listing on a brand new house, it took 6 months to build, 180 days on the market. You can cancel it, start right over day 1, brand new listing. You can't do that anymore. There's an agent, and I'm not going to say who he is, that would do 6 30-day listings. And if it didn't sell the first 30 days, if it didn't sell the second 30 days, maybe it sold the third 30 days, he'd say, I sold this house in 4 days. Well, he didn't tell you it was 60 days. But anyway, again, pardon? I won't tell you what's up. Anyway, but the point is, there was always skewed how many days of market houses listed, so now they got smart. So I love coming soon because, first of all, it gets me a sign out there. But know on this coming soon agreements that when you put, let's just say, what's today, the 22nd?
23rd.
23rd, I'm lost, okay. So let's say I go on a listing appointment today and the couple doesn't want to list it. They don't want officially don't want it on the market until June 1st. So I will make it on the sheet here. I'll put it effective today, May 23rd, okay? And then on page 8, I'll put seller has asked the listing agent not to put it on multiple listing until June 1st. So you do, and once you put it, and MLS doesn't care. This is for your broker. So you turn your paperwork in. So June 1st is day 1 of the market. I've gotten 8 days, marketing for the coming soon. So that's where you're at now. Let me tell you the negative. If you're now when you guys sign these listing agreements, you're paying 6%. Let's say 6% total commission if you're lucky. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about all the other companies that you were talking about with Open Door. So let's just say it's 3% to me, 3% to another agent. But that's what I'm offering a multiple listing, right? If I haven't officially put on multiple listing, you come up with a buyer. I don't have to pay you commission unless I do a one-party agreement. So you got to make sure if you go to an agent that has a coming soon sign, they do not have to pay you because officially it's not being offered a multiple listing yet. So make sure you get a one-party agreement even before maybe you show that house just to protect yourself on that there. So that happens a lot that people don't understand the coming soon. It is a really, really good tool. Let's got anything else that's been, she's giving me a countdown here that I was going to say. Oh, here's the other thing too. When I get listings, I typically try to get it for 6 months. And I know some sellers are reluctant to do that. I've been doing it long enough, I can get away with it. Sometimes. Sometimes if they really bitch, I'll say, okay, you can cancel it after 4 months. The reason why, when you start marketing these houses, like advertising doesn't kick in for 30 days, you start spending money, and by the time, and then plus you got sellers that, when they start off here at this price, by the time they're realistic, you've lost the listing, somebody else has it. I will not ever give up a listing except for one group of people. Who would you think that is? There you go. You're not going to win with attorneys. Attorneys know how to play the system. Are you attorneys?
No, we just had an attorney client that we fired.
Okay, yeah. They know how to they know how to beat the system. They will tie your and it's not worth it. Even when I call my broker, Bobby, you've done everything right, but you really want to answer all the emails. They'll wear you down. You gotta let it go. But a normal person, if you attorneys are normal, but on a normal listing, people complain, well, the house hasn't listed, hasn't sold. You're gonna call your broker and complain about you, which I get a lot of complaints. But at the end of the day, your broker's gonna back you if you say, I've done everything possible I can. They can't fire you. You can fire them, but they can't fire you. Just make sure you document everything that you're not doing so if they ever try to come after you. But you work too hard to get these listings. You beat out some other agents maybe. You maybe ran into the car, you can hurt them or send them to the hospital. But don't give up and just fold and say, okay, because guess what? You don't know if they know somebody that just showed your house a couple of hours ago or a couple of weeks ago, and they go, let's wait, let's fire Bobby, and then we'll hire you. And I've had it happen. I've been a good guy and go, I'm new, and here's a listing back, and I'll be damned if it wasn't somebody that I just showed that deal to. So you got to be a bad, and just not trust people that knowing that can happen. One other thing I started getting a habit of doing now too, especially if I'm doing with family, if I'm doing friends, or the one friend or two I have, they all want to list the house so high. I would pay $500, which sounds kind of crazy, for an appraisal. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to accept that appraisal, but in the back of their mind, they may say, look, maybe you may not be able to, they probably won't list it because they'll say this. Having that appraisal, which I'll say to them, guys, this is what the market thinks your house is. This is an appraiser, who, guess what, at the end of the day, that's the checks and balances in our industry as an appraiser. But I think it may not that first month, then they realize that's probably the end of the appraiser, that $500 sometimes works out good. I know they're going to start the guns and stuff and shoot them up. So anybody have any questions? Or I'll stay after if you guys have. But again, I'll do that class every month starting in April. Everybody's always invited to CE class. There's no charge for it and any company stuff. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Thank you too, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Tell your boss I'm still pissed off. That's still bullshit.